guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Which way, Western man? This is a debate that is really going very, very viral on Twitter, in which a news correspondent that looks like the lady on the right with the heavy makeup and the fake lashes and the fakeness really says the woman on the left is nasty and horrible and she should be banned from posting on the internet. Which is kind of ironic. I want to talk about this a little bit because I think this is part of the problem of why so many men, myself included, are kind of tuning out of dating, why we're losing interest in the dating market. Because when I see a picture like the woman on the right with the fake lips, and her eyes look weird because she's got naturally brown eyes, but she put in green contacts in this photo, and she's got really heavy mascara, and she's obviously had the injections in the lip, and then she's got the super fake eyebrows, and she's super made up, and you know she doesn't look like this when she leaves the house. Ironically, when you see a photo like this nowadays, you're kind of like, is that a member of the LDHD TV, and his name used to be Johnny? It's getting hard to tell. Where when you look at the gal on the left, you know, okay, that's an all-American girl. The one on the right, I'm not so sure about. The other irony is that when you meet the person on the right, you know she doesn't look like this when all of that makeup and everything is off. So I do want to talk about that as well. If you hear cracking and popping in my audio today, as you notice, my last couple of videos I've been using this little like broadcaster's mic on my head. I'm back to using my stand mic, which is a superior mic. The problem is I keep getting cracking and popping. Like every once in a while you hear a little pop, and I've tried new jacks on the back of my audio processor. I've tried new cables. The only thing I haven't tried is the new audio processor or the new microphone, because those are very expensive. And you'd think buying very expensive equipment would make things sound better. But apparently I used to get a lot more comments on my audio when I had a $70 USB mic and no processing. I just recorded it straight into the computer. Go figure. That's what you get for trying to be professional. So this video is going around viral. I'll play that in a second. I'm just going to pause it. And this Samira, as you can see, she's a foreign policy analyst. Okay, so am I. So what? News correspondent. Okay, so are a lot of people on YouTube. Kadyrov Stan. I don't know, whatever that is. Abrahamic Alliance Against Globalism. Well, I'm against globalism too, so I'm with you. And she has 231,000 followers. And she posted this. She says this accent needs to be illegal, and women should be banned from doing manual labor like this. There's nothing feminine about American women. American women are literally men. Now, remember, she just said American women are literally men, and she looks like this. She kind of looks like a man, because you can tell she's had nose work, definitely a lot of nose work, because the bridge of her nose is completely gone. So she's had surgery, she's had all these, and this girl is just a young country girl that's completely natural, not a bit of makeup on. She's sweating and working outside and working hard. And she calls this woman out. I'm going to play through the videos and then we'll discuss it just a little bit. Then I'll get back to these replies. This is the best photo of this Samira. This is the best photo I could find of her. The best one, where she looks the most feminine. As you can see, look at her nose here. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. Look at her nose here. That is a natural nose. Look at her nose here. That is not a natural nose. Her lips were still, she did have the fillers. She has the caps on her teeth. She's still got the green contacts in. She's got loads of mascara on. This is not a good look. Now, if you're out at the clubs and this girl's walking around and she's got a slamming body and she's in the mini skirt and she's out there dancing or doing modeling poses, she can give you maybe the modeling look. But if this is her modeling look, I'll take a pass. Thank you very much. And what's she going to look like with all the makeup off? We know she's not going to look anywhere nearly as nice. And this is the other girl that she's actually calling out. Now, this girl, I guess, is a catfisher. She likes to bow hunt fish, ironically. She knows a lot about animals and fishing and living on a farm. And this is kind of when you think about Americans back frontier days, I guess, women weren't tough like this. Well, actually, women were tough, but they weren't the ones going out and doing the fishing and the hunting. They were the ones working on the farm, but they still did a hell of a lot of, like, I remember my grandmother when she used to do laundry. It was like there were no washing machines. She told us the stories about how because she, in her home, had a washboard. And I remember as a kid, going back almost 50 years, as a kid, she had a dryer. All it was is after you used the washboard in a tub of soapy water and then you rinsed it all out, she had a thing that was on springs that looked like two big roller pins. And she'd stick the wet clothes in one end, and she'd roll this crank and it would squeeze the clothes out into a bin of water. And then she'd hang them up on the line because you didn't want to wring them because you could damage your clothes. So I remember her doing that stuff. Now, my grandmother was, very old school, and she was also the type of person that said, oh, a washing machine that costs, $200 or $300 or $100 back then, or a dryer that costs $150, that's a lot of money because she was 70 back when I was very, very young. So she would have more than likely, knowing my grandmother, said, no, don't spend it on that. I'll just keep doing it the way I'm doing it because she didn't mind getting her hands dirty. This gal reminds me of that. So and I apologize for any white noise. Oh, gosh. Always something. Always something. Always something when I want to do videos. Let me change my noise gate so that you don't hear all the rain coming down. All right, there's my noise. Now you're going to hear a little bit of white noise when I talk, but when I'm not, you won't, because rain. This is what we content creators suffer through when we try to give you good, high-quality content. So her name's Hannah Barron, and you can see here on her account, this is her with her father. Obviously, he taught her about catfishing and living on the farm. This is her out on the range. I got to change my noise gate up more. It's going to be like this all day. There's nothing I can do about it. Welcome to Tennessee, everybody. So she had another one. Oh, here she is. She's out here bow hunting, and she's a good hunter. She got two right in I don't know how many yards away she was. This is an all-American girl. I grew up on a farm. My grandparents grew up on a farm. Well, I didn't grow up on a farm. My grandparents grew up on a farm. I'm going to hold off. I'll finish this video shortly. All right, we'll try this now. It's I don't know how long it's been, but at least it's to the point where you can hear me speaking without the white noise being quite as bad. And I forget where I left off. But anyway, I grew up on a farm. Girls like this were kind of what I went to high school with. They were sweet, girl next, and this is what I talk about when I say girl next door. And apparently this other woman thinks that that women like this should just, like, this is not a feminine woman, this is a man, and if you like this woman, you're gay. That's pretty much what she says. You'll see in the comments. Anyway, I'm going to show you her building a new home.
Good morning, y'all. Quick update on the house. About giving y'all these. We took a little break for noodling season and to put out boxes. Now that it's dried in, we can do it at our own pace. But here she is. We're going to stain all that wood a darker brown, and the shutters, when we get that on, we'll have handrails, of course. There's the carport over there. Quick run through. All these trusses are going to be exposed, and we're going to have old tin in the ceiling. Got Daddy and Paul up there working on.
I'm going to pause it just for a second because there's Def Leppard in the background, and YouTube's audio monetization rules. They'll say, oh, that you're playing a music video or some stupid thing.
On a wall we're going to put up for the upstairs office. And we got Def Leppard playing in the background, of course. Back porch, beautiful view. And then the walkway to the carport. I'll try to be better about these, but you can also use my code Hannah25 for 25% off We the People holsters. Hope y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.
And she sells We the People holsters. This is about as Americana as you can get. Now, there's a lot of people that would say, oh, well, I want a girl and salt of the earth type of girl. I get that. That's fine. But here you've got a girl that's cute. She knows how to defend herself with the Second Amendment, and she takes part in that and enjoys it. She bow hunts. She fishes. She's helping build a home with her family. She's not just sitting around on a couch eating bonbons and being lazy and making TikTok videos. As you can see, she's slim. That puts her as a rarity here in the United States automatically. And now it does look like she maybe trims her eyebrows or brushes her eyebrows. I'm not going to hate on her for that. She does social media and she has, she puts her face out there, but you also notice there's no makeup on her. And there's certainly no makeup on these other photos. You can tell me that she has makeup on in this photo where her hair's wet. And there's videos of her actually in the water. I wish I could find them. Is this one of them? No, but there's videos of her explaining all about catfishing, and she comes out like I think in one video, and I didn't pull it up. I wish I had. In one video, she takes a deep breath, goes under the water, and she finds a catfish, and she slides her hand inside its mouth and out its gill plate. And then she stands up, like you see here, and she's explaining the gills are in here, and I've got my arm next to the gill plate so it won't hurt the gills of the fish. And she explains that I see a girl like this, and, I'm not personally, I'm not a big hunter. I do have a bow. I have a 65-pound compound bow. I have a 40-pound recurve bow. But I've never ended anything with either of them. But I like it. And you know what? If times get tough, or when season comes around and there's a buck out in my yard because actually deer wander through my property out here. And if I see a 300-pound buck I can get close enough to make sure I get a clean shot with my bow and I've got my license, I might take one down. That's a lot of free meat, if you know what I'm saying. But my whole point is, somewhere along the line, society wants to shame these women. Society wants to say these women are unattractive and they're masculine and they're undesirable because they're active and they like doing country girl things. But then we're supposed to say, oh, well, this is super feminine. Anyway, she says Lebanese women are literally perfect. Oh, here's the video I was talking about. She says high value American men should become passport bros. I'm not going to argue there. She is right. That if you go over to Southeast Asia or some places in Europe, usually Eastern Europe, there are some very, very pretty feminine women. But those women also need to be taken care of. And yes, I can tell you now, when I was in Ukraine, there were Russian women that were working in Ukraine. And same thing in Poland, as a matter of fact. When I was in, where was I? I forget which city I was in Poland, but they had a lot of Russian women there. And you could look, and no offense to Polish women, but you could look at the women and you could tell which ones were the Polish ones and which ones were the Russian ones. Because the Russian ones, well, they looked like Russian models. They tall, slim, very, very hyper feminine. That's great. And there's a lot of guys that look at those women and say, wow, they're absolutely beautiful. I'd love to have a woman like that. But you know what the Russian women will tell you? I need to be taken care of. I need to be treated well. I will, stay home and do more of the traditional woman things, but you need to be the man and you need to go do those things. And we talk all the time how that's a good thing. But I don't know about you, but if I wanted to live in a cabin in the woods and I want to be off grid and I was into fishing and hunting and going out with my 4x4 pickup truck on the weekends to go mudding with the guys, and that other woman's not going with you. That Russian bride's not going with you, and she would probably look at you as if you were dirty and a stupid redneck if you did. But there's a whole lot of guys in America that look at a woman like this and say, wow, like she goes and gets it. She'd be happy to hang out with me and my guy friends and their girlfriends if they're like this as well. She says, do you agree or disagree with her thoughts on thinking that women have too much testosterone? I mean, yeah, she's a tough woman, and she's definitely likes her hobbies, and this is what we call, guys, when we grew up, this is what we call like a tomboy. And the tomboys, when I was in school, there were a lot of farm girls who were very pretty, but they were also tough, and they didn't put up with any flack because dad and their family told them, you don't put up with crap. These are the girls, you try to take advantage of them, they're going to laugh in your face and or punch you. And a lot of people say that's problematic. And maybe it is. I don't know, but reminds me a lot of the women that I dated when I was in high school. I dated girls like this in high school. You know, I went to the prom with a girl like this. And so when I see this, I don't see any problem with it, but maybe that's because of where I grew up in the country, and I'm used to women like this. And then she posts a photo of Melania Trump as the real deal. Okay, yeah, Melania's a very pretty woman, and even for her age. Okay, is Melania going to cook you dinner? Is Melania going to need, I don't know, help for the kitchens? Do you see Melania vacuuming? Do you see Melania doing laundry? Do you see her, do you see her going out mudding with the boys? Or is she going to get a spot on her dress and then go into the bathroom for 15 minutes with some white wine spritzer or some seltzer water trying to get that stain out before she's seen in public? Is she going to walk out of the house without makeup? It's just two different mindsets of what men want out of women. And I have nothing against, women that look like this and are beautiful, and because for her age, she's still an attractive woman, but it's a totally different lifestyle. It's a different way of living. And I think a lot of guys, especially if you're not in the cities, if you're a country boy, or maybe you're independent, or you're kind of a man's man, as it were, and you like hunting and fishing and Second Amendment type stuff, this woman does nothing for you except sit home and look pretty. This girl's actually going to help you, build the farm. This girl knows how to drive a tractor. This girl has no problem being a farmer. Women like this would never do it in 100 years. And the rain's coming back, so you can hear the white noise again. I can't catch a break today. But I want to pull up some of these that got ratios. This dog tour, he says, jealous, LOL. Most guys would rather have a girl like this than some girly, wimpy princess. 18,000 likes. And she asks him, are you gay? Let me turn my noise gate up. No, he's not gay. But this girl, this is another picture of her. And it says, she's much better looking than you. Lay off the lip injections. And she's 32. She was born in 1991, which actually now means she's 33, coming up here in a month. And she's fake. Fake lips, fake nose, fake eyes, fake up, well overdone hair. And of course, she went to university. Another guy says, she's better than you and she doesn't even care to realize it. Military Arms says, she's one of the nicest people you would ever want to meet. Her southern accent is actually quite desirable to many American men. I also see you hate British accent. Another thing many men would disagree with you on. In other words, you don't know squat about men. Tom Hennessy says, are you mad because she's thinner and better shape than you? And Mr. Leadslinger, if you can't do manual labor, what do you bring to the table as a woman? But listen to this, though. And this is kind of my point. Mr. Leadslinger, I like women like this. Military Arms, whoever runs this account, I like women like this. The men's men, the cowboys, the military guys, the guys that get dirty and live out on the farm or do as the expression goes, that they do God's work. Those are the men looking like at a woman like this and said, hey, she doesn't need to be a kept woman. She's going to pull her own weight. And I find that attractive. I like a girl that's going to go mudding and fishing and hunting with me. There's a ton more comments. And I'll leave it at this. We all have different types of women. Some of you guys like them thick. Some of you guys like them thinner. Some of you like a little athletic. Some like farm girls. Some like girls that look like they're fresh out of college. Some guys like women that are look like this. that look like this, that they're fresh out of a magazine. The point is, none of them are wrong. None of them are incorrect. The point is, men are kind of unique in that we all like different things. We have all different selections. And if some guy says, I think a woman like this on my arm when I go downtown on a Friday night and get out of my Lamborghini, I want this girl on my arm. I said, you know what? You're probably right. Because old farm girl the only Lamborghinis she knows about are Lamborghini tractors. She doesn't know they even make cars, probably, that are Lamborghini now. That girl would be so out of place getting out of a Lamborghini, going to an event gala somewhere at the Met. But you take this woman and put her in the woods, this woman's she's probably gone like unalived in 3 hours, bitten to death by something she shouldn't have touched. And all of them are okay. That's the point. But what do women want? Women don't know. They want rich men and handsome men and men that are hung like with trouser snakes. That's what these women talk about. And I know a lot of you guys from the red pill, especially if you're still in your angry phase, you'll say, oh, they're all alike. She probably goes out. But is this girl on Friday night hooking up with a bunch of strangers, or does she have a boyfriend that drives a pickup truck and likes to do the same thing she does because her father taught her values? I'm guessing. Now, maybe she's like the rest of the women and every boy. But when you live in a small town like this and you go to a small school, I'm guessing she lives in I'm making assumptions here, a lot of them. So please don't correct me down below. I'm making a lot of assumptions. But if this girl is a small town girl and she was raised by a good father and a good family, and she's building her own home and she's catfishing with, because this is like her dad and her grandfather, it looks like, because if you look at the hair on this gentleman, to be an older gentleman, but he's also, even though he's got a little weight on him, he's in shape. Her dad's in shape. Do you think this girl would be going out with all the guys, or is she the girl that finds a boyfriend and sticks with him? I don't know. Maybe that's just an assumption. Maybe I'm naive and thinking back to the days when I grew up in a farm town, but when there's only, 60, 80 boys, men, young men, your age in town, and if you've dated one or two of them and all those rumors fly around town, if you turn out to be hooking up with dudes, everybody knows. Not only the other boys, not only the other girls, but their parents know. And pretty soon you have a name going around town that you're the easy girl. That's why a lot of times in these small towns, the girls like this actually do have morals. And it doesn't mean they're going to find you attractive. Like if I was out, my 25-year-old self, and I was out on my farm and I did stuff like this, she might look at me and say, you're short and unattractive and I like tall, dark, and handsome. It doesn't mean that's necessarily going to change. But it does mean that she also looks for other values, because she's not going to want to date some pencil pusher. She's going to want kind of a manly man that's of the salt of the earth. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think below. I like these occasional thought experiments of, are women that are like this any different than the rest of them because they had a father in their life, because they were raised in a small town where what you do actually matters? Or does it mean, I was going to say, does it mean she moves off to the city someday and goes to college and becomes a leftard? But she's building a house and helping her family build a home. I don't picture her ever moving to the city and going, maybe she has a degree, but I don't see her becoming like a nutty feminist when she goes to college. If she has a degree, it's probably in farming and agriculture, or maybe wildlife or something or other. Is this an example of a woman where you might actually have a shot if she ended up liking you and you liked her and you started dating? Is this the type of girl where you say, you know something? Based on her family values and her father raising her and her just wanting to be out in nature and not caring about social media too much, even though she does put things on social media, and she's into Second Amendment and bow hunting. Is this not, I'm not saying she's a unicorn, but I am saying, is this the one where you say, you know what, maybe I'd give it a go. Maybe I have a chance. Maybe she wouldn't rake me over the coals if things didn't work out right. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not changing my mind about marriage or any of that. But if you were to take the gamble, would you risk it on a woman like this? You know, Miss Country Girl here? Or would you risk it on the one with the fake up, the nose job, the eyes, the lip injections and the one that says that girls like this shouldn't exist and that her accent's horrible. I don't know about you. If I, and I'm not going to take this gamble, trust me. But if it was you have to get married. You have to get married or it's over right now. I'd probably be smart to say just pull it, just end it. But if you did, I know which one I'm going with 100%, and I think I'd have 10,000% better odds that if things didn't end up so well, I'm not going to end up on the bad side of court. That I'd probably, as long as I didn't do her wrong, I'd probably have a fair shake on the exit. But then again, my odds would be a lot better to still be in it because of the values she's been taught. Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one.